Thank you, Mr. Chairman, very much. Dr. Reichert, I was thrilled by your ability to lay out how new companies get created when the EPA identifies problems that have to be solved. So can you expand upon that a little bit more? What gets unleashed when there's a clear pollution or environmental issue that is identified from the private sector perspective?
About that. Absolutely. Thank you, Senator. In fact, I think I can best do that by sharing a few additional examples of companies that have responded to environmental regulations already in effect or about to be in effect. So in addition to the young companies that I had mentioned previously, we have several others who benefit from new markets that are created by the Clean Air Act regulations already in effect or about to be in effect. So one company creates coatings for copper tubing, which increases condensation efficiency in power plants, increasing the plant's overall efficiency and reducing emissions. And this company will benefit from the Clean Air Act's Clean Power Plan. A second example, one of our companies provides highly sensitive infrared sensing of methane gas leaks. Two more of our companies provide technologies to capture or use natural gas from wellheads through the multi-phase compression or microturbine technologies that they've developed. And those companies all benefit from several different Clean Air Act regulations. One is about methane emission standards for new and modified sources in the oil and gas industry. A second is the Clean Air Act's oil and gas air pollution standards. And a third, stationary internal combustion engines, also under the Clean Air Act.
Yeah, so thank you. So that's kind of exciting. You know, you don't end the old industry. You add new technology that just keeps the old industry going, but with higher environmental standards met by innovative new technologies. So I think that's pretty much what we're talking about. And Mr. Knapp, you, in your testimony, you're saying that the Clean Water Rule enjoys a lot of bipartisan support, and that you're here representing, I think you said 200,000, 300,000 small businesses?
Yeah, the American Sustainable Business Council.
Yeah, could you talk about why those small businesses support the Clean Water Rule?
Small businesses, small business owners are nothing more than regular folk out there. And who doesn't want clean water? And that's what I have always told everybody. A small business person really is just like your neighbor. They just happen to own a business. And they have the same concerns that everybody else has. So to the degree that, that they feel that clean water is important, and they support a regulation that would, in fact, guarantee that their fresh source of water is going to be protected. So it's not unusual for the results that we get from our polling, because those are the same results you get from polling of the general public.
So can you talk a little bit about this balance between regulation on the one hand and cost to businesses with the clear positive impacts that come about because of the regulations? So that creates sometimes a little bit of a conundrum in seeing the benefits that come, as well as the obvious kind of constraints that a regulation might place upon an existing way of doing business, but yet there are clear positives as well.
Yeah, look, regulations exist and the rules exist because there is some outcome that we're seeking, that government wants to happen. Congress has passed some type of legislation that's going to require the implementation, which requires rules. So will there be impacted businesses that will be negatively impacted by a rule? Yes. But again, it is the overwhelming relationship between the negative response and the positive impact. And we know that regulations and rules will be responded to by the private sector. I mean, that's what the private sector does. They recognize where they can make money, and they go there. And if a rule was established that clearly sets a path for businesses to follow, they will follow it. Does that mean that some businesses are going to be negatively impacted? Yes, it does. But what businesses really want are fair rules. They want those rules to be set and to not be questioned all the time, because that then creates the uncertainty that we heard about here with the waters of the U.S.
So once you set the goals for social or economic or health or environment outcomes, then all of a sudden you get this incredible explosion of entrepreneurial activity
Which
to solve the problem,
which
is
the
over
doctor
here
just
at
talked about.
Greentown, but all across America as well. And that's kind of the balance that we've always struck since the beginning of the clean water and safe, foods revolution back in the early part of the 19th century. It's always been a balance, but I think in the end, it's pretty clear that the net effects of it are a healthier, cleaner society and many more jobs that were created in solving the problem. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.